The WWE product has always tried to appeal to young fans in some capacity. However, from time to time, young fans can get upset by what is unfolding in the WWE ring, and this can lead to them crying during the show itself. But there are also times where a young fan may interact with a heel, and the heel will remain in character and result in the young fan either getting scared or breaking down in tears. But which times were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 times WWE wrestlers made kids cry. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10. Alberto Del Rio. A key part of Alberto Del Rio's act at house shows when he was a heel in WWE was ripping up fan signs that supported his rivals. This was a rather controversial move from Del Rio, and it actually landed him in hot water on a number of occasions. One time he ripped up a kid sign during a house show in 2012 and the kid burst into tears. The mother of the kid was actually so annoyed with what happened that she actually went to TMZ, who ran a story on the incident. WWE had to release a public apology to the mother, but a number of fans believe that the mother was simply trying to get publicity or financial gain. Del Rio would perform the same spot a year later before a house show match against Dolph Ziggler. Once again, it made a young fan cry, but luckily, Ziggler went over to the fan and gave her a hug, which no doubt made up for it. Number 9. The Undertaker. When The Undertaker first made his WWE debut at the Survivor Series in 1990, fans had never seen a character like him before on television. His debut came as a complete surprise, and according to Taker himself, his initial debut and presentation was so scary that it actually made a number of kids cry inside the arena. Speaking on a special edition of WWE Untold, the dead man would go into detail on how his debut upset younger members of the WWE audience. "I was a scary monster that everyone was terrified of. I remember vividly making my entrance and looking and seeing kids crying. I think everybody has a little bit of darkness in them anyway, and I think I tapped in on that, and it kind of became cool to have that dark element in your personality." Number 8. Kane. John Cena had some of the most passionate fans in the world, and a strong majority of his fans are young children. Back on the episode of Raw in 2018, Kane would deliver a devastating chokeslam on Cena. Cena and Kane had a mini feud on television, and this would lead to Cena going one-on-one with The Undertaker at Wrestlemania 34. Unfortunately, a young fan got extremely upset that his hero had just been laid out in the ring, and this led to the young fan getting emotional. The young fan's father attempted to console the boy, but it did little to make the fan feel better. Number 7. The Fiend. Sometimes it's not just kids in attendance that can get upset. Sometimes it can actually be young children watching at home who can find the WWE product upsetting. WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle shared a story related to his children crying when he was attacked by The Fiend on Raw back in 2019. This attack took place when Angle was the guest referee for a match between Drew McIntyre and Cedric Alexander. Before the match could officially begin, The Fiend would strike and he would lay out Angle with the mandible claw, leaving the Olympic gold medalist motionless in the ring. Angle would discuss how his children reacted to the attack during an episode of The Kurt Angle Show. The former champion revealed, "My children, when I was attacked by The Fiend, they started to cry. They were watching TV that night. My wife called me right after and she said, 'What the hell is going on there? Why did they let The Fiend attack you? Aren't you fighting anymore?' I told her it was just my job." Number 6. Bayley. The decision to turn Bayley heel in 2019 was a huge risk for WWE. Bayley was one of the most popular female stars in the division, and she was incredibly beloved by the younger members of the fanbase. When WWE decided to turn her heel, they would have her remove everything that made her so endearing as a babyface. The ponytail would be changed, the music would be altered, plus the Bayley Buddies would be no more. On the October 11th, 2019 edition of SmackDown, Bayley infamously destroyed the Bayley Buddies with a kendo stick. Following the dramatic act, a video surfaced online of a young fan breaking down in tears after what Bayley had done to the Bayley Buddies. Although some sympathy should have been offered towards the fan, Bayley addressed the crying fan in a simple tweet. Number 5. Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin has cemented himself as one of the best heels in WWE over the past few years, and although Corbin is one of the top villains in the squared circle, outside of the ring, he seems to be one of the nicest guys around. Back in 2017, Corbin was wrestling Shinsuke Nakamura in a dark match following SmackDown, and during the course of the dark match, Corbin actually managed to make a young fan cry with his heelish antics. Following the match, Corbin would go up to the young fan, offer an embrace, and he even gave the fan his t-shirt. Corbin received huge praise for his efforts in making the young fan feel better, and although Corbin tried to claim that the kid was a family member, everyone knows that Corbin was simply trying to get some heel heat back following his babyface-esque conduct. Number 4. Kevin Owens. In late 2016, Kevin Owens was WWE's top heel, and his heel work was some of the best WWE fans had seen in recent memory. During a WWE live event, Owens made a young fan cry after he refused to high-five a fan who was wearing a Roman Reigns t-shirt. The fan's mother naturally took to social media to air her grievances, and she stated, "All night he was getting high fives from other wrestlers and all was smiles, but for some reason when Kevin Owens came out, he singled out my son and commented on whose shirt he was wearing and told him, 'You should get this shirt. Actually, don't get this shirt. I don't want you to ever wear my shirt. Don't you ever try to touch me.' All because my 7-year-old wanted a high five and wasn't wearing his shirt." My heart sank. He became visibly upset, sat down and kept staring at the gate. I couldn't help it, I started crying. Our fans quite rightly were firmly on the side of Owens, who was simply doing his job as a heel. Owens outright refused to apologize to the mother or the kid, and he even tweeted a response to the mother's statement saying, "A wrestler told my son not to touch him. I'm completely heartbroken. Well, not really, but if I complain, maybe I'll get some free stuff." Number 3. Roman Reigns. SummerSlam 2021 was main evented by Roman Reigns defending his Universal title against John Cena. The match was highly anticipated by fans as it was Reigns' biggest match since turning heel a year prior, and it was Cena's first match in over a year. Reigns would be victorious in the match, which didn't come as a surprise to a lot of our fans in attendance. However, one young fan was expecting Cena to win. When Reigns got the win on Cena, the young fan began to cry. Footage of the young fan was then posted on social media, and Reigns would actually be asked to respond to the fan when he appeared on WWE's show The Bump. Reigns would state, pertaining to the kid and the tweet, "I'm just trying to be the good guy here. John Cena let this kid down, you know what I'm saying? So I had to go out and I had to clean up the mess. That's the type of guy I am. That's why I'm the face of WWE. I'm out here making days with just a little retweet because John Cena couldn't get the job done. He ran his mouth, talked all the smack, got this poor little child, this precious little child upset. If he would have been a fan, he would have been rooting for the head of the table. It would have been a victory celebration." Number 2. Sasha Banks. Well, the Bayley superfan Izzy is one of the most well-known members of the WWE Universe. Her most notable appearance on WWE programming came back in NXT TakeOver Respect in 2015, and during the Iron Man match between Banks and Bayley, Banks would shout in Izzy's face and would even steal her headband. This led to Izzy bursting into tears, and her father had to console her. Following the match, Banks would actually give Izzy the flowers she received during the post-match segment. Banks clearly never meant to upset the young fan, but it created a memorable moment that fans still talk about to this very day. And number 1, Triple H. But Triple H was in the midst of his run as part of the villainous Authority stable on television back in 2015 when he accidentally made a young fan cry. During a tag team match on Raw, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were sitting at ringside, and this young fan just so happened to be a huge Triple H fan. The young fan would chant for Triple H throughout the course of the match, and Triple H responded by saying, "Hey, stop messing with me, I'm trying to do my job over here." This led to the young fan getting upset, and Triple H decided to break character to console the fan. Triple H would inform the kid that he was just playing around and there was no need to be upset. Amazingly, following the show, Triple H actually invited the kid and his family backstage to meet the superstars, which was certainly an extremely generous thing for the WWE executive to do. But there you have it, folks, 10 times WWE wrestlers made kids cry. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.